In the following examples, we're asked to solve the equation by using the square root property. So the first one is actually really simple. We have x squared equals 144. Now, you might think, well, I know that 12 squared is 144, and that is exactly correct. However, you have to remember that 12 squared is 144, but so is negative 12 squared. If you multiply negative 12 times negative 12, you get positive 144. So in this case, taking the square root of both, we would have x equals plus or minus 12. So this is the answer for this first question here. So that's just something important to remember, that you should always take the positive and negative value when talking about solving an equation through the square root property. Now we're going to keep that in mind as we work on the next problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. The next one says 7x minus 6, and then it's quantity squared equals 6. Okay, I notice that I have a square right here. To undo the square, I should probably take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and in doing so, I get 7x minus 6. Again, I get rid of the square by taking the square root, equals plus and minus the square root of 6. Now I want you to notice that the square root of 6 is not a perfect square. This is not a perfect square, so we leave it under the radical symbol. Alright, now pretend that we're just going to solve this as any regular equation, so we would add 6 next. So add 6 to both sides. 7x equals 6 plus or minus, and then what we're going to do is the square root of 6. Now that we've done that, we're ready to finish this off. We divide both sides by 7. So I divide both sides here by 7, and I get x equals, x equals 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 over 7. Now, I want you to notice that in this case, I could not simplify anymore because I'm left with something that is not a perfect square in this area, square root of 6. If this was a perfect square, alright, then you would try to combine the values here. So you'd do 6 plus and 6 minus, and then divide it by 7 to come up with two different answers. But in this case, this is an acceptable answer here. So this is how you would solve an equation using the square root property.